Any genre, but just a band or like an artist which isn't supported by like a big brand name, so like people that support themselves.
Bit of the Manchester scene. Guitars and drums, no electronics.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I'm afraid indie started back in the 1980s with synth pop bands, people like Yazoo, Assembly, Mute Records, stuff like that.
That's cool.
And then I guess a bit later on, it was much more sort of guitar bands playing their instruments, people like the Blue Tones, stuff like that.
I think I know one called Zella Day. It's like music about the world and about a message, sort of trying to deliver their views in a peaceful manner.
That's cool.
Yeah, when I was a bit younger, but I've got two older brothers, so they were all into like grunge and indie and stuff like that. So like through the 90s, it was probably more like start of the late 80s, 90s. So it kind of became a bit of a cross between like Nirvana, and then it became like they were into Levelers, Rage Against the Machine, loads of like random stuff that was on the side. Imagine a lot of stuff like Blossoms probably kind of fits into some of that stuff that nowadays, isn't that? But
More modern day.
yeah.
There are bands that I think have a kind of indie style, like the XX, but I don't know whether they're signed to a big label now. Because of course, what happens is as soon as they're successful on an indie label, they get snapped up by the big record labels.
That's true.
Weezer's back to the sort of the kind of post-grunge, grunge, slightly softer guitar bands from America, like Sum 41 and that kind of.
Heard of both of them, but not the songs.
The Lumineers did Hey Ho.
Yeah, they did recently.
I'd say it's all about good time, having a good time, like on an island in the sun, and like when you're on holidays, it's all about having a good time, forgetting about bad things.
It's a recorded memory, isn't it? And happier times, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's lots of repetition as well, like huge amounts of repetition all the way through it as well.
It seems really positive, really. Like they've got an interesting imagination here, like Golden Sea. And
Do you reckon that comes from obviously you try and remember good times, or possibly someone they've lost somebody? When they run away together, spend time, will never feel bad anymore. So the fact that they're remembering stuff that actually, you're like recollecting and like being positive, but is that remembering somebody that might not be there?
Yeah, that would make sense. Interesting.
Makes me think a bit of holiday romance.
Yeah.
So it's more of a transitory pleasure. You're on holiday, you're having a blast, everything else doesn't matter, you've forgotten all about it.
Yeah.
Real life, it's not there anymore.
Somebody make a mistake. Probably letting somebody go that they shouldn't have done.
Yeah. So like a relationship.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Or loving someone they shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
It's the other way.
Yeah.
The fool who falls in love.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit of an unequal relationship. A bit like you've got a paycheck, you've got to move. So the person they loved obviously has other things that are more important than that. Certainly less cheery.
Yeah.
it's got a nice melody, it's kind of catchy. So it's really easy to pick on. Yeah.
It's got a nice vibe to it. It reminds you of good times.
It's quite upbeat and it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
I quite like the guitar in the verses.
Yeah.
The nice sort of background guitars playing the melody in the background.
It kind of touches on some of that older stuff, like they did with Teenage Dirtbags, so it's a little bit heavier, because it's a little bit different from what they've done previously. Like I say, it's a bit quieter, it's a bit more, massively.
Funny enough, I thought the verses were quite mellow and gentle and quite pretty sound. I actually thought the two choruses, although they're saying the positive things, had a slightly downbeat kind of. The way it was sung was actually slower and a bit more downbeat. Which I quite like the contrast.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that sense of freedom, like, I know the whole we'll run away together, we'll spend time forever, you know, there's no restrictions, so they can pretty much do what they want, and, you know, it won't feel bad anymore, so it'll all just be good feelings and positive vibes. So.
But you get that though from that, because it all feels like it's quite, it just ticks along, like it's the same tick, tick, and it just keeps going. There's no, like, you don't kind of get that from him feeling like happy, or maybe because it feels all like one level until it goes, well, there's that slight change, isn't there, where it gets that fresh, but only very shortly, but it just keeps ticking through, and there's no kind of upward change or downward change, but when it does happen, it's only very short.
Yeah.
It feels like, say, probably more melancholy, more a little bit memory of happiness rather than actually in that moment of when it was.
Yeah.
But that, to me, it felt, the song, you talk about freedom, I think it was about moving on. So it might be that it's the sense that they're going to feel more free, but perhaps that's the slightly melancholy tone because they haven't been.
Yeah. Such, but then, like, it's not 100% positive, it's more like it's a mixture, it's just in between.
Melancholy.
Yeah.
It's sort of like numb kind of feeling.
It reminds me a bit of Basket Case, the Green Day song, where if you listen to it, the words are quite positive, but it's actually quite a, you know, and Good Riddance as well. Even more. Good Riddance more so.
Yeah.
Drift into the zone.
Because you could even link this kind of song to like maybe a drug habit or something.
Can't control my brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
Could also be depression as well, because mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the piano in the background.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's more upbeat, like there's more like key changes and different melodies in the background.
Variation.
Change the tone of his voice as well throughout it as well.
Yeah.
It's very percussion driven, isn't it? The sort of beats going constantly all the time, and it's like, it almost overlays everything. And I like him vocally as well. I think he's a good singer.
Yeah.
Then it's got to do with like love and some sort of relationship that either he's trying to get over or he's looking back to the relationship he had with this woman.
Yeah.
I'd say the melody is more positive, but the lyrics are more negative than the other one.
Yeah.
So it's like a switch from the other one.
I think I found the lyrics, because it is quite cheerful, I found the lyrics a little unconvincing. I mean, obviously in the middle he's saying I don't feel nothing at all, and he's obviously lying. But I didn't quite get how the story didn't quite work for me in that way. So I was more taken by the sort of the fact that it was a nice upbeat song. It was pleasant background music that was nice to listen to, but I wasn't particularly convinced by the lyrics, by the story. I found the other one stronger on that side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where it says, you've been on my mind, girl, since the flood.
I don't know, maybe it's like a metaphor for something?
Flood of emotions or something like that, maybe, or can't see past the blinders as well.
Yeah,
like
that's what he means.
Maybe something to do with like he was involved and then shut it down. Because of maybe the flood of emotions.
Yeah.
Maybe they've like someone or something like found out about what he was like. The flood was like how it all happened and how people found out about it, and now he's still thinking about something like that.
Although I think since flood might be a figure of speech, just a kind of an American term, sort of something a long time ago, as in since Noah's Ark time. So it might just be a figure of speech for ancient time.
Yeah, it could have been on my mind since the flood. Yeah. I was probably more engaged in that song than what the one previous was.
This one
mainly because they're slightly different, like you spoke about the tones, the music and the voice and stuff. Whereas The other song, obviously, for me, only got a little bit more interesting when it got that fraction heavier for me, but this one had those more changes in the flow of the music and the tone and that.
Yeah.
It's the standard thing they do. All their songs are quite short as well normally, so it's only a couple of minutes, isn't it?
And driven by the percussion as well.
Yeah.
It's always very much that kind of...
For me personally, I prefer the first one because, you know, I prefer the melody to that.
So as much as I'm kind of more familiar with Weezer, then I'd probably prefer to listen to the second one. Possibly.
I feel like
if I didn't have to worry about what's actually being said or stuff like that.
Yeah, there was more to the second one which I'd listen to, rather than just the lyrics.
Sledgehammer or a piece of Gabriel.
Okay, why is that?
It was just amazing animation. If you've never seen it, I would recommend you watch it. It was absolutely groundbreaking.
Okay.
Yeah, it's stop motion animation. It's very, very cleverly done, and it's a very percussive song, and the way it's put together is brilliant.
I guess I quite like dance music kind of videos where there's like lots going on or some kind of street dance happening, like a battle or something like that. Something to look at, I guess. So it's more interesting than just someone walking through a forest or something.
Yeah, there was two when I was a little bit younger that kind of like probably captured more in the moment of those kind of people doing it. So there was the Verve doing Bittersweet Symphony where he's just walking down, just being miserable.
Walking into people.
Yeah, walking to people, and the one called Ian Brown doing The Fear, and again just similar kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like really, just because they were very similar of that time and trying to appeal into the same kind of angry young people who thought they were hard done by.
I can imagine like Ophelia being like an upbeat band, just like showing you the drummer and everyone and like a singer at the front, like going in for it, and then the other one's more a loner guy, sort of walking, thinking about things.
So you say that more a narrative?
Yeah, sort of his own view of things and not looking at anyone else, sort of just him. I'd say more narrative is more interesting because you find out his story and how he feels more than just the band jumping about.
I think I like a narrative where something happens to surprise you as well.
Yeah.
Something you think is happening changes partway through.
Yeah.
I quite like that.
Say like do a mixture of the two,
Yeah.
a little bit of band as well as a narrative. So
I could definitely see that with the Ophelia one, where I know what you mean about the performance, but you could easily have intercut scenes where, you know, there's a little bit of what's happened between her and whoever this is.
Yeah.